Stay away from mine. Bad things on there.
Thank you for tuning into Poker House Peaks. This is one of the feature tables. We have 2 tables left of this $50,000 guaranteed tournament. The prize pool well surpassed that. We are on a 15-minute delay, so we're about 5 minutes away from the action. Eric will be giving a few more instructions to the people at the table. My name is Reese. I'll be carrying you down to the winner. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and we will be tracking the action here in about 5 minutes.
We're on a 15-minute delay, so we're about 5 minutes away from the action. Eric will be giving a few more instructions to the people at the table. My name is Reese. I'll be carrying you down to the winner.
He touched me with it. You like it.
Like
Bad thing is, it looks like it's chewed on.
black coffee and a sugar-free refreshment.
Can
I get a Red Bull?
Wow. I am not a good waitress.
But you're doing great.
That's the best way to. There. Is that fine?
Water.
Another card protector.
I'm the easiest one.
Okay.
What's not right? You already done the podium.
Part watches everything. Yep. Earphones.
I want that one. Looks way more expensive.
No, we don't want that. That's an
I'll hold on to it for you.
expensive.
All right, you got it.
Once again, welcome everyone for tuning in to Poker House Peaks, Poker House Fort Worth. This is the final 18 of this $50,000 Summer Jam guaranteed tournament. Now, this was a $65 buy-in tournament, and with a prize pool that ended up at $63,050. That's right, $50,000 guaranteed, and we made it 1,261 entries for a total prize pool of $63,050. We're playing down to first place with you today here on YouTube and Facebook. First place, just a little over $11,000. That's right, $11,464 for first place. We are down to the final 18 of the tournament. The players, as they get eliminated from this point, are making $566 for their effort, a pretty good return on a $65 buy-in tournament. This tournament started last Tuesday. We had 8 flights in Poker House Peaks and Poker House Fort Worth running simultaneously from last Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, A, B, and C, and then Friday, 2 flights, and then yesterday on Saturday we had 3 flights, and the last one a turbo. And like I said, 1,261 participants in this tournament. They were able to carry 2 bags forward, and we had 3 players out of the 1,200 plus get the triple bag bonus of $500. So congratulations to those guys. Some of that will be up on the different Facebook pages soon. But yeah, we have 18 players remaining, and the next cash out is 566, and they're playing for 11,400 up top.
All right, let's go.
And this is Eric joining me here in the booth.
Exciting day.
It's been an exciting day. Exciting week.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm going to sleep tomorrow.
I'm going to sleep for about 2 days. So these are the last 18 players. What's the dealer's name?
This is Michael. He's my standard live stream dealer 3 times a week.
Fantastic.
I've got Tyler in the commentary. Excuse me, we're in commentary.
We're in
I've got
commentary.
Tyler running Action Tracker. We're gonna lose Tyler. Today's his last day. He's moving to Kansas City with his wife and new baby.
That's the difference of scenery there, but he does a good job on these streams, so hopefully
Yeah.
he carries on the profession somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna lock him into the Action Tracker because he does such a good job there.
Fantastic. And there you are, giving the last after giving the last minute instructions. Like I said, there's 18 left, so there's this table and then one other table out on the floor. And if you are listening or watching nearby here at Poker House Peaks, we've got, I think, 3 cash games going on right now. As people have busted out in this tournament, they've taken those winnings and taken them straight to the cash games.
Yeah, we've got 1, 2, and 1, 3. Our 1, 2 is our just our vanilla game, I call it. There's nothing special. There's no, I'm modifying that camera right there. The 1, 2 is a $60 to $300 buy-in. You can under the gun straddle, but that's it. There's no dealer's choice button. There's no button straddle. There's no multiple straddles. It's just your standard 1, 2 game that you play in most places.
Fantastic.
And then we can go up to a 1, 3 game, which is the other table. And that's a $200 to $600 buy-in. And there you're allowed to button straddle, and there's a backwards dealer's choice button. So once per orbit, the dealer gets to pick PLO or 5-card high-low or bomb pot, whatever they want to do.
So it sounds like we have one poker table and one circus games table.
Exactly. These guys like I'm from Minnesota where, it's casino background, and I came down here and it's like the Wild West, literally.
It's a lot of fun.
It's the freedom to have just a club where you can do what the members want to do is really nice.
Oh yeah, not have to worry about gaming commissions and all that kind
Getting
of stuff.
approved
Yet
beforehand.
anyway, we'll see what Texas does down the way. But yeah, I travel all over the state in various rooms, and every room has that handful of guys that are playing the 5-card high low. All the different variations of poker. And it's good to see it. It's good for some of those guys. But even if you're not into that, though, we do have a standard 1-2 table going. And with all the tournament players left, 18 of them, some of them surely will be taking these cash outs and head to the cash games. So, like I said, if you're listening or watching in the Dallas area, there's plenty of action here at Poker House Peaks. And I'll have to take a look, but they probably have some games going on there in Poker House Fort Worth as well.
And we are streaming this. If you're watching, let us know where you're finding us. Are you on YouTube? Are you on Facebook's page where we're at Peaks Dallas Facebook page? Or are you finding us on Poker House Fort Worth Facebook page?
Yeah.
We've got napalm.net. He's a standard chatter.
Yep.
Can you tell us how many bullets that Seat 7 has fired?
It is confidential information. I think you can ask Kicker that.
Seat 7, yeah. I think he shared it. I don't know what it was, but it was a healthy number.
Well, we've got it, but we'll let him share that info with you there, Napalm. The first hand we seem to have flop here. Speaking of Tran, my kicker there, he's going to take down this first one.
Ace 10 against Ace 7. He flops the best hand with bottom pair. Picks up a little pot. Lonnie's on the Fort Worth Facebook page.
Yeah, Lonnie was here in the tournament today.
Yeah.
He was one of the day 2 baggers.
Excellent. 77 came back.
Yep, 77 people out of 1,261 participants. It was a fantastic result.
Yeah, crazy good. I like your cameras better in Fort Worth than I have here.
We both have some fun streams that we put on there. There's a Diesoft going to got a fan there in the chat. Have an all in here by Derek with Ace 8 offsuit. Sean and Pablo going to be left up with the decision on whether to call this.
Mike Sewell, a fan favorite in the 3 seat.
Looks like we did make the call. Looks like he just had too many chips to fold here. So Derek going to be all in for his last 300 here, called by Pablo.
So this is Mike Sewell. They named him Pablo Chacan.
Oh, that's Mike. So okay.
Yeah, that's Mike's alias. And Tyler says spell it. He goes Pablo Pete. A-B-L-O Shakan. I don't know.
That's too funny.
Derek flops an 8 or
Yeah,
ace.
so he's gonna
and
way take the lead here, but action flop still with 6, 7, 8, 9 open in, looking for a 10 or a 5, and he's gonna hold it. So he's going to get the full-on double up through Pablo. And so Mike there in the 3 seat choosing the Pablo. I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna say Pablo all day long.
Yeah. Have you talked about our ticker yet?
Nope, not yet. We just got into action here. Why don't you tell us a little about what they got going on here at Poker House Peaks?
The most super exciting thing that I really love, if you watch us on Facebook, is our high hand. We were doing an hourly high hand that you would spin the wheel anywhere from $50 to $300. You could win every hour. All it took was a full house to qualify, and you only have to use one hole card. Last week we changed it. It was from noon to 6 every hour. We changed it from noon to midnight every half hour. So
that's huge.
We are just crushing this high hand, and we're having a lot of fun with it. I'm posting live videos 5 times a day.
It's not just cash. We got just some swag on there, some hats and hoodies and
tournament entries, free time.
Yeah. Tokyo, you're going to raise it up to $250,000. Dyesoft looking to come along with the king queen offsuit, but unfortunately right behind them, Peter in the 1 seat, Lane in the weight with the aces
in the cutoff.
He's got 1.3 million, 13 bigs. He's the shorter than these previous two, so he is just going to ship this all in here. I don't know if Toke probably won't be able to come along, and Dyesoft did commit a little bit of his chips there, but not enough to commit the rest of it. So he should be able to get away from this here, possibly. Napalm, we appreciate the compliment there. The turn chips. You don't get to see the plaques very often. I saw the players shuffling the plaques there. Eric out on the field. I don't know if you were. They're definitely louder. They get your.
Yeah,
you
clacking.
They take a different different tone. So Dyesoft here is going to get a count.
It's borderline, you know, if you put Peter on just shoving with 10 big blinds because the blinds are coming around, you might call him lightly with king queen.
It's possible if you think, like you said, he has pocket pair and on a flip here, but they're playing for $11,000. I'm not sure. Yeah,
good fold.
I don't blame him. They're like I said, they're saying earlier, they're playing for $11,000 up top. So you're going to see guys play a little bit tighter than usual, and when they're playing for that kind of money, especially when this was only a $65 entry tournament. I mean, the ROI is huge.
It's great. London in the chat says, "Is that you, Dan? And who's the other lovely voice with you?" This is Eric, and in the booth with me is Reese.
Yep.
He runs the rooms over in West Texas, and Dan is deep chips in. He's knee high in chips over on the cash game.
Was he the guy that I was speaking to earlier?
Yeah, that's Dan.
Now, I asked him if he wanted to come into the booth with me, but apparently that game's a little too good right now. He might join me later on. He's hip deep in that cash game. I see you're loading up the photos of the players. I love it. Is that one you had saved from him playing before?
Yeah, that's okay. That's one of his other ones.
Fantastic. He is going to raise it up here with Ace Jack offsuit to 300. Looks like Mike is going to come along with the Ace 9 offsuit.
I'm going to go check on production. I'm going to leave you alone for just a minute.
Not a problem. Again, a big thank you to Eric for helping put on this production and the whole thing really here at Poker House Peaks. We've had a whole week of this. Him and I both are just about ready to get some sleep. We've had a busy 5-6 days of this tournament. So Ace Jack versus Ace 9 2-way flop, seen 3-3-6. No help to either player. Neither one decides to take a stab on this pot here. We'll see if Dyesoft wants to continue the aggression. Yes, he does. Reaching for those plaques that are worth $100,000 apiece. So the blue chips are $25,000 and the plaques are $100,000. And Pablo, whatever you want to call him, it does come along here. So he's definitely not going to let this one go very easily. And 8 on the river doesn't help anybody. So the ace jack of Diesoft, it's going to go check, and Pablo is just going to go ahead and check behind, try to get some value out of his ace high. And Diesoft going to pick up a pretty significant pot here with ace jack high. And so at the end of the day, in tournament play, the chips do matter extremely much more than like in a cash game. You have blinds. The blinds are going up every 30 minutes here in day 2. And the blinds right now, I believe, are 50 and 100,000. So we're only 18 players left. We're pretty deep into this tournament. This, like I said, this is the day 2 restart of everyone that qualified in the top 8% over the last week to get to this far into the money. So everyone you see here has made some money in this tournament. Now they're just fighting to see how much. And right now, the eliminations right now for 16th through 18th place is $566. So everyone you see here on the screen, on the stream, has made at least that. But they are trying to work their way up the ladder as the prices do jump significantly as you get closer. For instance, 566 right now for 18th. If you can get up to 13th place, 679. 10th and 12th through 12th pay 843. And if you can make the final table, the next pay jump for the 9th place is 1,018. That's going to be your 4-figure jump, which is a pretty significant payday for this tournament that was only a $65 entry fee. We like I said, just really enjoyed putting on this event. Had over 1,200 entries into this event for $65, and we had 8 flights in each one of the locations. 12% of the flights got paid, a minimum cash. And then if you were good enough to make it into the top 8%, you came here today to Poker House Peaks to play for the lion's share. Hey, girl, saying when you're playing with the plaques, when you're playing with the big dogs, yeah, you don't see the plaques very often. It's absolutely fun to see the plaques on in play. When you're at the table, they just have a good sound when you thump those down on the felt. You can definitely make a production of a good raise, grabbing a handful of plaques and just giving it a thud on the table in front of your opponent. Chris here looking at pocket deuces, going to raise it up here in the cutoff, try to take some blind money. Blinds are very important in tournament play. As that button moves around, each player has to put in the 50,000 small and the 100,000 big blind, and then an additional 100,000 for the ante. So Toke here is going to be making this call, and then my kicker, he does have pocket 8s here. He's in the big blind. He can. It's not much more for him to call versus what he has invested. So he's probably thinking more about raising here. He's definitely giving the chips a count here to see exactly where he's sitting. All 3 of these players over the 2 million mark. 2.8 for Chris, 2.3 for kicker, and he is going to go ahead and jam here. And again, with these small raises here by Chris and just a flat call there from Toke, the holdings are pretty wide open. Don't necessarily need to be premium without too much of a raise, but kicker here putting the chips in the middle to put them to the test. And it's going to work here because, like I said, the not too big of a raise there by Chris in the 4 seat. And with just a flat and a small blind, waking up with a pocket pair, he's ready to go ahead and put that in there. My kicker is. Taking a look at the chip stacks there. I believe Sean is going to be the chip leader there with 4.2 million in chips. And but no one is super crazy deep stack. You see a lot of 20 big blinds, 30 big blinds. There is some room for play, which is a good thing because, like I said, they are playing Right now, the next one out gets 560 some odd dollars, and they're playing for 11,000 plus up top. So you definitely want to preserve that chip stack and try to make it to that top cash out here. Now, Sean in the 2 seed going to raise it up to 300 with the pocket tens, and Toke here in the 6 seed on the button, waking up with ace king offsuit. Definitely reaching for raising chips here. A pretty significant raise. Went from 200K to it looks like about 600. Let the graphics catch up here. Now, Sean's going to be in a tough predicament here. He's one of the larger stacks here at this table. And Toke has 3-bet here to 750. And I'm not sure if the graphic, if he started with 2 million or if that's his current chip stack, but he's basically letting Sean here know with this raise, he's putting in enough, significant enough amount that he's ready to play 4 stacks. And is that something that Sean wants to do? Pocket tens. It's a tough one to play, a whole week-long tournament, multiple flights, get all the way to here and start getting into the big money, and you have a pretty decent chip stack. So it's kind of difficult to hang your hat on pocket tens against a 3-bet here. These guys know that for every couple spots that get eliminated from here on out, that pay ladder does go up. And since you've only got $65 entry into this tournament, the ROI gets pretty huge pretty quickly. So he is going to make this call here, which I don't hate. You can definitely sneak in there, try to flop a set of tens or hope for a very low flop, and then hope you're not up against jacks or queens. So ace, deuce, 8, that's going to hit Toke, and it's going to be pretty easy for Sean to be able to get away from this hand. Yeah, there's the shove by Toke. So like I said, he was setting up for that on this flop. And so now Sean has to decide whether he really does have ace king in his range, or if his tens may be still good if his opponent has like nines or 7s, 6s. With the 8 out there, that kind of definitely could be a hand that you could be up against sitting there with tens if you put yourself in the lead to begin with. But I don't know if Sean's going to be able to come along with this. Now, this is tournament poker, so these chip stacks, they can be a little bit off. We do our best to get the most accurate chip count for these players. So you're going to see a little bit of variance in the chip stacks on the screen versus their actual chip stack. And so when it shows here that Toke is all in for 1.3 million, it could be a little more, could be a little less. I'd have to look and see on camera what it looks like. But all we can do is go on what we have. And if that's the case, Sean's looking at putting in about a third of his stack to come along with the tens if he is just a non-believer in Toke having an ace. Unfortunately for him, we can see that he does indeed have the ace king, and Sean is drawing very thin here. Definitely give some thought. There goes the card protector. One last look at the cards, and that usually means fold, and that is... No, he picked them up and then balked and come back down. Okay, so Sean definitely having some inner turmoil here on whether he believes that Toke has that ace or not. Again, we are on a 15-minute delay, just like any standard live stream. We can be found on the YouTube channel or either Poker House Peaks Facebook or Poker House Fort Worth Facebook, in case you want to check us out on Facebook if you're on YouTube, or vice versa. And if you are just tuning in, we are down. This is the final 18, the final 2 tables of this $50,000 guaranteed summer jam. That's right. That's right. $50,000 guaranteed summer jam. The first best part of that is this was only a $65 entry tournament. $65. That was it. And you could re-enter as many times as you wanted to for $65 into this $50,000 guarantee tournament. And the second best part of that story is our prize pool actually surpassed the $50,000 and ended up at $63,050. A tremendous showing by the DFW area. We had 8 flights in both locations simultaneously. And the top 12% got paid. And the top 8% bagged and tagged to be here with us today and into the money. The min cash on day 1 was 100, and I believe they got 150 for making it to day 2. And while we can't see the outer table, as far as eliminations go, 16th through 18th place was getting $566. So each one of these players getting at least $566 for their effort, but they're definitely playing for that top prize. As you can see, Sean here taking his time on deciding whether or not to believe that Toke has that ace or not. But when you're playing for $11,000, you definitely want to consider things, and that's what he does for a good while, and he does lay it down. So Toke is going to pick up a pretty healthy pot there, and he does show. Yep, he showed him both cards. So he does show Sean that Sean made the good laydown. Again, whether you agree with showing cards or not, there's pros and cons and arguments for or against. But whenever there's only 18 left and the blinds are as significant as they are and the chip stacks are as insignificant as they are, you definitely don't mind showing some strength, letting the people at the table know that you're not making moves with nothing, instill a little bit of fear into your opponents and make your bets have a little bit more weight to them if they know that you are usually not bluffing. I want to welcome everyone into the chat on Facebook and or YouTube, depending on which platform you are watching us on. Jen saying that Toke took her out of her flight shot. That is unfortunate, but thanks for participating in this fantastic tournament, Jen. We're going to be doing it again very soon. Diesoft raising it up here with King, Queen of Diamonds suited. Actions on Pablo Mike. You know, you can look at some of these chip stacks and some of the blind levels and some of these raises. These guys are definitely, each hand could very easily get their entire stack in, as is per usual for tournament play. The blinds do go up, and Pablo Mike decides this is the hand he wants to give it a shot on. The 10-7 of clubs, pretty good hand for making a lot of different kinds of hands. Definitely going to be alive more often than not whenever you get it put into the middle. And as the dealer is figuring out his chip stack, it's going to be a big pot, 4.1 million. I believe, looking at the top of the screen there, whoever takes this one down will be the, in fact, the chip leader of the table, which is definitely where you want to be whenever there's less than 18 players remaining in the tournament. Again, these guys are into this tournament for a $65 entry. Now, some of them entered more than once, depending on how they did, but you're able to take 2 bags forward. So a lot of these guys have multiple entries into this flight. So we're going up 10-7 suited of clubs against King, Queen suited of diamonds. The 10 of 7. 10-7 seems to be the one at risk. Pablo Mike looking for a lot of clubs, a 10 or a 7 on this flop. It's going to come ace 3-9. No help to either player, no clubs in sight. 4 on the turn. We're going to need a 10 or a 7, or Pablo Mike is gone, and it is the Jack of Hearts on the river. And so Dyesoft picking up a pretty significant pot there, and we will lose Pablo Mike. I know him as Mike, and he said he wanted to have his name as Pablo on stream, so that's what we went with there. So pretty good pot there for the 9 seat there, Dyesoft. So I think he had some fans in the chat, so I hope you are excited that he just took down that pretty significant pot. But let me know where you're listening from, where you're tuned in from. Are you part of the Fort Worth side of things or the Dallas side of things? Did you play in this tournament at all? We had 1,261 participants, so odds are pretty good that some of you in the chat have fired a bullet or 3 into this event. And kind of hard not to when you have a $50,000 guarantee. That's right. $50,000 guarantee on a $65 buy-in, and we surpassed it. We actually hit the guarantee at the beginning of Saturday and ended up with a $63,050 prize pool. That's pretty good turnout. Well proud of that. There's some more Dyesoft fans there in the chat. And Rylan, how are you, bud? A friend from hometown there. Listening into my live stream here at Poker House Peaks in Dallas on this pretty big tournament without much of an entry fee. It was a fantastic tournament to do, and I'm going to be doing it again. And Rylan, I hope you can make the trip to come play. Jen, you fired 3 bullets in Fort Worth. So you saw me last week. I was in Fort Worth doing the tournament work there all week long. I'm definitely ready for a day off. I'm going to be with you here throughout the live stream and awarding that first place prize of $11,464. It's a pretty good payday for only a $65 tournament. Napalm, I spoke to the guy who fired the most bullets and definitely going to hook him up with some swag, some hat, hoodies, things like that. But we're going to let him decide on whether or not he wants to receive those on camera for his efforts. We'll not say who that person was, but we definitely had someone who fired quite a few bullets into this tournament, which is fine. When it's only a $65 entry, you can do that. My kicker here, going to get to pocket jacks, raise it up to 400, 4x the big blind. Peter in the small, and Sean in the big blind with king 9 offsuit. Don't know if he's going to be able to come along, and he does not. So my kicker picking up some pretty valuable blinds there with the pocket jacks. And if you're dragging a pot after having pocket jacks, that's pretty good. I tend to see that hand lose more often than win, unfortunately. Juan, I'm not at liberty to say who had the most bullets fired or how many they had, just in case it does come out. But we had more than one kind of go ham on this tournament. But again, I don't hate it because it was only a $65 entry. You can enter into this tournament 2, 3, 4 times and still be in fantastic ROI range, and also just the normal tournament cost range. It's hard to find a tournament these days for less than $120. And so $65 buy-in definitely induces quite a few bullets, and as it should. And that's why we ended up having that massive prize pool of 63,000 and change was the fantastic price point. Toke here in the middle position with ace 10 offsuit. We're going to raise it up to 400,000, 4x the big blind. Dyesoft looking down at king queen offsuit decides to make this call. Chris in the big blind, less to put in to come along and see a flop, but decides against it. So we're going to go heads up, between Toke and Diesoft. Ace 10 offsuit versus King Queen offsuit. Napalm asks, was it more than 20 bullets? I'll answer that. The answer is yes. The answer is yes, more than 20. 4 deuce 4 on this flop, misses both players. So see if Toke here keeps up the aggression that he had pre-flop. He does reach for some chips and slides in across the middle. Those are the blue 25,000 chips. The plaques that you see that we don't get to see very often. They're fantastic and fun to play poker with. They are 100,000. Yeah, Michael, I saw your name on the roster. Fired 1 bullet last night and bagged and got knocked out in 69th place. And that's a win. So the aggression is going to continue there from a Toke and going to take down that pot. So quite a few people tuned in and watching. We are live on the Poker House Peaks Facebook page, as well as the Poker House of Fort Worth Facebook page, and then our YouTube channel where we have all of our Poker House events. So a few different ways to be able to watch us here on our events. You can see the chip stacks there at the top of the screen. The blinds have gone up to 75 at 150. So things are going to definitely start moving as is per usual when it comes to tournament play. The blinds do end up pushing the action. 30-minute levels today here in day 2. Derek's going to push in his last 475 with Queen Jack offsuit. Don't blame him there. Not much left to work with. Pedro waking up with Ace Queen. Going to make this call. So the Queen Jack of Derek, unfortunately, in pretty rough shape against the Ace Queen, with both sharing a Queen. The Ace kicker being better at this point. We'll see if Derek can pick up some straightened cards or a few jacks to overtake the Ace Queen. And we are going to see a flop of King 10 King. Not a bad flop. Open-ended. You can hear the table getting a little excited there in the background. Let's see if we can zoom up a little bit here. Looking for a 9 or an ace does not happen. So deuce. So the Ace King is going to be good. And Derek didn't have much left. Had to put it in there and just see what happens. It is eliminated from the tournament. So we've seen two people go. I'm 15 minutes in the past here at Poker House Peaks. So if the only way I can look at the clock is see the live numbers on the clock. But we've physically seen 2 people get busted out here at this feature table. So we know that those 2 players received at least 566 and could have been about 670 and change, depending on if someone from the outer tables busted out or not. We only have actually 1 outer table. We started the stream with 2 tables of 9, 2 full tables. And you are watching one of those tables right now. Chris on the button. Looks like he makes that call with the 10-4 offsuit. Challenge the blinds a little bit here. Pedro having Queen Jack offsuit in the small blind. A limp in from the button there, and you got the button, the big blind to act behind you. So you could see a raise here out of Pedro. Any sort of raise should work. But he goes ahead and lays it down. Queen Jack can get you in trouble a lot of the time if your opponent comes in with King Queen, King Jack, Ace Queen, Ace Jack. So Looks like Chris did raise that up there. So he did raise it up. Good. That's good to see. I thought the graphic had said he had just called. But he did raise it up, which is what you want to do in tournament play. You don't want to give your opponents in the blinds any sort of cheap and or free flops, not knowing what kind of range to put them on. You know, at least if you raise it yourself, hopefully they have a better holding of cards if they do make the call, so you can put them on a better hand or not. And again, the next hand back on Chris. Well, this time looking up with pocket 9, so you should see him raise once here. Again, 150 is the big blind. Looks like he came in for a min raise, a little bit more than a min raise, to 400K with 4 of those big, pretty plaques. Again, they just make a different sound when you put them on the table. Plaques are a lot of fun to play poker with. You see there, Toke and my kicker waiting in the 6 and 7 seat. Pedro with the king queen, a little bit better than his decision with the ace or the queen jack, but he goes ahead and lays that one down on the button. And Chris is going to pick up another set of blinds here, again, which is very important for tournament play. Those blinds come around pretty quick, especially when you are playing shorter handed than usual. We are down to at least 16. We started the stream with 18 players, 9 and 9 at each table. We have a featured table that you are watching here on stream, and then one additional table out on the floor. So we may see some movement. We'll take a quick break when we get down to the final table as they redraw for the seats. And they are in line to play for that first place prize of $11,464. A fantastic first place, winning for only a $65 buy-in. Folds around to the blinds here, and my kicker completes the big blind, trying to see a cheap flop, and looks like seat 9 isn't having any of it. Goes ahead and raises it in the big blind to go ahead and push out kicker in the small. We want to welcome everyone for tuning into Poker House Peaks Facebook, or Poker House Fort Worth's Facebook, or the Poker House YouTube channel, where we stream a lot of our games week in and week out from one location or another one on the YouTube channel. Sean can be the first one to act. Looks like he's raising it up pretty healthily here. It's 150 to play right now with the big blind. He's going to raise it up to 400. Pedro is just being tested by good cards. Queen Jack, King Queen, King 10, and definitely laid them down as he should. When you're playing for so many ladders, you don't want to get involved for no reason. My kicker here picks up a real hand in ace queen offsuit. Will probably at least come along with this hand. He's getting a quick inventory on his own chips there to see. Oh, and he does shove back over the top, and I love this play. Put some people to the test and pick up not only the blinds, but the 400K that Sean did bet. And so now Sean is stuck thinking about whether or not he wants to call off what is probably the rest of his chips with Queen Jack of Diamonds. Again, like we spoke earlier, when Sean was thinking, it's difficult to think about what you want to hang your tournament life on. He did ultimately lay down the pocket 10s earlier correctly, and if he can get away from this Queen Jack of Diamonds here, it'll be a correct fold, as well as kicker is showing the ace queen on screen there. We are on a 15-minute delay, so you don't have to worry about the players getting any sort of information from their opponents. So don't If you have a buddy on stream, don't bother texting him. Don't bother telling him what the opponent has. We're on a 15-minute delay, and players' phones are left away from the table just so they can't go back and watch the stream even 15 minutes later and get information on their opponents. We try to segregate them from their smartwatches, headphones, cell phones, and things so they can play this live stream on this table where we can all watch and enjoy this fantastic event. Getting a dealer change here in Miguel. Fantastic live stream dealer from what I've heard. I've commented on the Poker House Peaks live streams here and there with Eric, but don't really know the players and the dealers that well quite yet. Picking these players in this tournament, not only did they get in for a 65, but there was two clubs that participated in this tournament. Poker House Fort Worth in Burleson and Poker House Peaks in Dallas. It was a $50,000 guaranteed tournament with 8 flights in each respective location. We had 1,261 players in this tournament. 1,261 players in this tournament. That's a fantastic turnout, and absolutely smashed the guarantee of $50,000 and have a prize pool currently of $63,050. $63,050 in this prize pool. These players are playing for the top prize of $11,464. Absolutely exciting for only a $65 buy-in. My kicker folding the deuces there decides not to put some of those chips to play. Dice off on the button, going to be up with pocket fives. Looks like he's going to make it 400 to play. Counts out a stack of blues worth $25,000 apiece. Unfortunately, don't think the big blinds are going to wake up with anything there. Sean with the 5-3 suited, a very, very fun hand to play in a cash game. In a tournament, when every chip matters, it's difficult to make the call, but he is going to go ahead and complete dice off, not making it too much more than Sean already had invested in the big blind and the ante. So it feels like he has some pretty good pot odds here. Yeah, the stream does appear to be lagging a bit. Subaru and Kane, I do apologize for that. There's only so much we can do about that. I can try to make some adjustments. Some of it could be on our end and some of it on your end, depending on where you're watching it from. It just happens with streaming these games. There's so much information that's being streamed, taking up a lot of the bandwidth, and so we have to make sure that our internet is on point. And some days it's fantastic, some days it struggles a little bit, but we're definitely doing our best in what we can. I do appreciate it there, Kane. I'm going to try to bring in a few other, maybe some participants or some other people here at Poker House Peaks to hop in to the booth with me. I'm sure you guys could get tired of hearing me drone on and on and on until we get to this winner. But I do my best to talk a little bit about what's going on, what we have coming up, kind of the situation the players are in. And speaking of which, Peter here on the button is going to go ahead and jam it in here with ace, queen offsuit, and Sean immediately waking up with pocket tens next to him. Peter going to be the one at risk here with the ace, queen, seeing a good hand to put this stack in. These blinds are so large that these players are really needing to find a hand to get it all in with. So Peter looking to catch up with an ace or queen on this flop. Does not help. A set of tens for Sean, but does bring a jack out. A jack, and only a jack here, will help Peter stay alive in this tournament. And it does not happen, unfortunately. But fantastic performance there by Peter to make it all the way through over 1,200 people in this tournament. Absolutely fantastic. And I am not quite sure the condition of the outer table, but he could be the 16th place person, or it could be in the 13th to 15th range. Either way, it's going to be either $566 or $679. Once we get down to the final table, we'll know exactly who's left in this tournament, but we do have an outer table along with this feature table here. But either way, a fantastic performance, and for only a $65 entry, a heck of a payday, and a well played there by Peter. Napalm and My Empire, and super appreciate the comments, guys, on the for my commentating. My kicker waking up with pocket tens here. He has 3.7 million in play, 24 big blinds there. And he's going to go ahead and raise this up to 400K with the pocket tens. Dyesoft, who we've seen be pretty active, the chip leader, goes ahead and folds the ace. We may see him shift gears just a little bit here now that he's built up quite the chip stack. Not slow it down just a little bit. Let some other players possibly get knocked out of this tournament. The ladder does go up, and it goes up quickly. So once you've built yourself a foundation in a tournament, sometimes it's good to kind of sit back and let the field manage itself, and before you get involved too much and earn more money for every single one of those knockouts. We have 6 players left at this feature table, and we do see some additional players being filtered in as the Eric and the other floor personnel keep the tables balanced as per tournament play. Whenever one table eliminates a few players, they will move some players over to balance the tables out. So you're going to see some people joining the stream. And as they get joined into the stream, we'll do a countdown on their chips, get their name and or their alias they wish to go by on the stream. But that is for you guys' benefit, so we can have an accurate chip count whenever these players do get all in. But since we do have people moving around, the chip counts can vary. So if 2 people are pretty close in chips, don't want to completely commit to who is being eliminated or not. But it looks like James is going to join us here at this feature table and immediately get ace queen. If they got his chips in accurately, he should have about 2 million in chips. So it's definitely a low medium stack size there, but he's going to raise up to 350 here with the ace queen. Sean in the 2-seat contemplating king 9 suited. A very pretty hand, but not much to do with on that. And let's see if anyone wakes up into the blinds here to anything to contest it. And Kane, I was just saying the same thing. We've seen a lot of ace queens and pocket tens already, so that seems to be the hand of the stream so far, as ace queen or pocket tens. But in this stage of the tournament, there's nothing wrong with getting ace queen or pocket tens. Definitely both good hands to make some stands with. So if they brought James to the table here, it looks like that's going to build us up to 7. So we could have 14 remaining. And exactly that, Ethan. How many left? I am 15 minutes in the past on the stream. I'm locked in my own little very own broom closet here, talking to myself. Trying to keep you guys entertained on what's going on. But since we have 7 here at the feature table, they probably have 6 or 7 or possibly 8 on the outer table, since we do keep the tables balanced. But either way, we're going to be playing down to the finals. So once we get down to 9, we'll redraw, create a new final table, and we'll be playing all the way down to one winner getting that top prize of 11,400 and change. So we'll know exactly, be able to follow it down exactly once we get down to 9. But right now, there could be anywhere up to 15 players to 13 players remaining, which puts us right in the cash out value of about 679 for being eliminated, which is 10x, a little more than 10x of the $65 entry that this tournament costs. Only $65 to play in this tournament. It was a 5-day tournament between Poker House Fort Worth and Poker House Peaks here in Dallas. Both locations putting on 8 flights, garnishing over 1,260 entries. I mean, just a fantastic turnout. Yeah, Napalm, I'm looking at what is in the past. So if you want to look it up, spoiler alert, on Poker Atlas, you can do that yourself. Not an issue. Sean here going to pick up King Queen offsuit and decides to put it in here. And with as contemplative as he has been in the past few hands, I'm a little bit surprised that he's making this move here. But it's not going to fully get through because Pedro, who's shorter stacked at 1.6, is going to go ahead and make this call with the ace queen that we're used to seeing here on stream so far. So tough shape here for Sean to pull ahead here. Pedro set up nicely to try to double up through Sean. King queen versus the all-in of the ace queen on an ace 10 4 flop. So Pedro going to flop best. Sean here looking for a jack to fill up the Broadway straight to eliminate Pedro, if not the full double up for Pedro, and it's not going to happen here. So the ace queen is going to take down this pot, and Pedro, with the pretty good laydowns that he made earlier that were pretty difficult. He laid down king queen, laid down king jack, queen jack. Definitely made some good laydowns here and did well to do so, as he found a much better hand to double up through Sean with. There you see on the screen, if you can't see it, first place showing up $11,400 and change, all the way down to 9th place is going to be the first 4-figure payout of $1,018. There's more than 9 remaining. Once we get down to the 9, you'll be able to see all 9 players here on the final table, stream table. But for now, we do have 2 tables in the field, one in the stream room and one out on the floor. So I don't know exactly how many players we have left, but we're going to be here with you throughout. So we're going to see who takes home that lion's share of the entire pot of over $11,000 for first place. And but like I said, the final 9 cracking the 4-figure mark, which is a fantastic return on just a $65 tournament. I mean, you just can't say that enough. This tournament was only a $65 entry tournament. You get 20,000 in chips, and then for an additional $10 instant bonus, you get an additional 10,000. So the people started this tournament with 30,000 in chips for just $75 after they buy the bonus. So it's just a fantastic value. Pedro, who just got the full double up through, is going to be tempted again with this king jack and makes the same disciplined laydown that he made before. And it's a good thing because Toke right behind him is going to wake up with the pocket queens. We just saw the double up Eric with Pedro there on the seat 5, and made another good laydown here. And like I said, just good time here with pocket queens as Toke wakes up with a hand. And my kicker's got a decision to make here with the ace 10. He's kind of a sticky player sometimes.
Yeah, this is super fun. You like the new overlay? 13 players out of 1,261.
Oh, I love it. The constant chip stacks at the top helps everyone to see, including myself, where everyone is sitting. No one else is going to wake up with any other holdings after kicker. It lets the ace 10 go. And so the pocket queens get through and pick up some blinds. There's some very valuable blinds, as these blinds are pretty big. I believe we're still at 150 and 75 and 150, I believe. Richard says he was a bubble boy Thursday night at Poker House Fort Worth. He was on the live stream. Yeah, I remember doing the live stream on Thursday. Everyone from Fort Worth that played in this fantastic tournament remembers me walking around yelling at everybody for 5 whole days. And if you played in the Poker House Peaks location, you got to see Eric all week here.
I was yelling at everybody on this side of the state.
Keeping all of the cats in line for a massive turnout event. We just cannot be more thankful to everyone in the DFW area and everyone who drove even further to play in this event for only $65 and a $1,000 guarantee tournament, which we absolutely smashed. 63,000 and change in the prize pool.
Yeah, blinds are up. We are at actually 100, 200 with a 200 ante. And something new that we started doing yesterday, TDA switched their stance on big blind ante. And now they say instead of ante first, let's go big blind first. So I announced that yesterday and the players were happy about it. It is more player friendly to when you win a pot, you actually get something.
Yeah, it was definitely a. We all knew it was coming for the TDA, the summit that they held this weekend, and they wasted no time in putting that first on the docket, and it had a unanimous vote to go from ante first to big blind first. And for all the poker guys out there, you know what we're talking about, and for all the non-poker people who are just tuned in for the entertainment, it's just kind of a nerd thing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
But it is definitely a huge change for tournament poker.
And yeah, it did come into play today. The dealer called me over and asked, what do we do, big blind or ante first? And we told them we changed it. So if you told them the wrong thing because Monday I told you something else, it changed yesterday.
Literally yesterday. Yeah. Yep. Jackson bubbled at Poker House Fort Worth on the stream too. Got roasted in chat by all of his friends. I was letting him know what his friends were saying in chat. His friends were beating him up. But we enjoyed Jackson being there. We hope they all come back for the next time we have an event there. Darren, I don't know exactly. We are 15 minutes behind, like all live streams. We stream on a delay. And so all we really know at the moment is the people at the feature table. But once we get down to the final 9, there's 13 remaining. So we have 7 here on the main table. So there are 6 other ones out there. And if the as it breaks down, as they break down, they will filter into the main game. Then we'll know exactly who's left. But right now, 15 minutes in the past, I would have to actually go out there and see who's left. Yeah, Jackson, keep a lookout for live streams coming up at Poker House Fort Worth and here at Poker House Peaks. A little bit further of a drive, but they have quite a few cash games here at Poker House Peaks as well. So plenty of opportunities to get live on YouTube and Facebook for all of your friends and everybody to watch you play some poker.
I went out and printed out the outside table.
Oh, there you go.
Jonathan Wage, and that name might be longer. It's cut off. Wages. And Shamari Williams, Kevin Pooh, Troy Casey, and Drayton Gebb something. Starts with a G-E-B-B. Let's get back to the action. Toke in the 6th seat makes it 500,000 with pocket jacks. Sean's got a suited 9-10 he likes on the button. He's counting out his chips. It's going to be a third of his stack to make this call with a 9-10 suited. He does have position on Toke for the rest of the hand, but he lets it go. Chris is going to look at an ace-6 and waste no time. Pedro is not going to call with a 9-8, and we are on to the next hand. Whenever you can pick up 500,000 chips without a showdown, that's a good day. "13 players remaining, deep into day 2. We're going to be at a final table shortly. Do a full redraw. And let's check out these payouts if you're at the final table. We're just a little bit away from this now, but 9th place is guaranteed $1,000. 1,018 with 11,464 up top. Diesoft, I think he's a chip leader at the table. He's got over almost 5 million. Raised to 750,000 with a suited ace tray. Sexy little GTO hand. Sean's got an ace, but his stack is dwindling. He's down to 1.2 million. Has to decide if it is enough. He's got 6 big blinds. Is this the time to make a stand? He is going to make a stand with his last 6 big blinds. I do not hate this at all. He's got an ace and a 9, and he's got dice off dominated. Unfortunately for him, Chris in the button wakes up with pocket 10s and does have him covered. Sean is in bad shape. He needs an ace, and Diesoft is holding one. So he only has 2 outs. Dan, you coming in here with me? You have to now. Put him on out here. Yep. No problem. Our standard commentator, Dan the Man, Rain Dan Simone, asked if he could put the stream on in the poker room, and I told him no, you cannot, because the other 6 people at the other final table, or at the other outside final table, are they're not allowed to watch these guys play. That would not be fair. Once they're all at the final table, I don't mind so much.
Oh, I thought Dan was in here.
Is that for Dan?
I can get you one of what you like though.
Okay. Chris is really going deep into the tank with these pocket 10s. He does finally reshove all in. Action's going to quickly fold around the table. Toke does not even think about King Queen, but now Diesoft has a decision. He was a pre-flop raiser. There's 5.2 million in the pot. It's going to cost him 2 million to call. He's got 4.5 million, 4.3. So it's going to cost him almost half of his stack. But if he's right, if he wins this hand, this is a huge hand. If he wins this, he's going to be an overwhelming chip leader with 9.5 million chips in his stack. Billy in the top right corner. There's 13 players left out of the 1,261 who started. Good. We'll see. We'll see if they come get us.
Quite the hand here as I get back to the booth.
This is a huge one.
So I believe Sean shoved, Chris called, or Chris reshoved, or after
Starts off, Diesoft raises, and then Sean shoves, and then Chris tanks, and then reshoves, and now Diesoft action's back on him thinking.
So Diesoft already has quite a bit committed to this pot.
Yeah, he does. There is 2, 3, 4. He's got like 1.2 already committed. It's going to cost him 2 million more.
Yeah, and they're getting close to the final table bubble here, where reaches the 4-figure price point. So it is a pretty big
Yep.
decision here. Does he want
Yeah,
to?
he actually has 750. He raised to the rest of the changes from the big blinds and antes.
Yeah,
The pot.
I could argue either way here, depending on how valuable the ladder up is to you. And like I said, ninth place making the final table reaches the 4-figure mark.
Yep.
So it just depends on what he feels about that.
First place, $11,464.
Mm-hmm. So he does go ahead and lay it down here. So we're going to see Sean and Chris.
Now Sean has 2 outs left, and
Yeah, because we saw the ace 3 fold. Did somebody else fold an ace?
no, those
just-
are just 2 outs.
Yeah.
So Chris is in really good shape right now for a full double with pocket tens. We've got Miguel in the box. He is,
Quite the machine.
yeah, he's great.
So Sean, the one at risk here with the ace 9, looking for a bullet on this flop, does not get it. Looking for an ace, and only an ace now to. It does there. Gets there on the turn. But we have. It's not over yet. Club on the river. Oh, it does get a club on the river. So the tens will hold, even though the ace gets there on the turn. Woof.
So right here, Chris gives him a fist bump. Does not know he won that hand with a flush.
Yeah, that there.
He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
He just realized it.
He just realized he didn't lose half a
Wow,
stack.
wow,
He
wow.
doubled up.
Yeah.
Huge hand for Chris.
He had no idea he won the hand. He saw the ace and gave up.
Yeah, they thought they were needling him,
Oh no.
and he's like, "No, hey, nice hand, fist bump, nice hand, you got me."
Jeez. So one close to there, but a fantastic run there by Sean. Like I said, 1,261 entries, and it made it all the way down to 12th to 13th, depending on how many people are left out in the field.
We're at 11 now. Yes.
Yeah, so that's a fantastic run, and good enough for about $843. That's quite an ROI on a $65 entry tournament. Very proud.
Nothing wrong with shoving with ace there. He had 6 big blinds
Oh yeah,
and ace high. I like the move.
you got to pick a spot before the blinds get to you to get
Just-
the best return on that for sure.
Now we're back out of pocket 4s. Dice off is going to raise again from the hijack.
So the blinds are 100, 200 with a 200 ante. So it's $500,000 in the pot before the hand even begins. So you're going to see a lot of chip movement now.
Chris feeling much more comfortable with 4.8
Yeah, picking up that pot.
million chips, over 5 million chips.
Chooses to flat here with the king 9 of clubs, going against the pocket 4s of dice off. Both of these stacks are pretty good for the field.
Oh wow, that's great for Chris.
Yeah, that's
I think he's not going to get any action from dice off though.
no. We'll see if Chris leads out. He may try to get to a cheap turn.
In this
No,
point, I just lead right out. Just say,
Oh, I don't-
I hit this and come get some if you got it.
yeah, I don't blame him. It gives you one more chance to win the hand without actually hitting the flush.
Yep.
And dice soft here. Tough call. Pocket 4s.
No, he you don't like any flop that doesn't have a 4 in it. Dice soft is suspicious though.
Yeah, he could say that Chris is just going to try to pick this up and see if he can get.
You don't want to be too easy.
No. And it looks like he does make the call there, though. So that's going to slow Chris down unless he can pick up a club here. It's 7 of hearts on the turn, no help. So, dice off checks this to Chris. And if Chris checks here to get to a cheap river to try to get that club one more time, I don't think the only way Chris got a bet here. No, he doesn't, though. He just goes and checks it. So that queen there, yeah, that's
going to make it harder.
That's a tough card there for Chris to try to pick this up, because if dice off thinks he's good on the flop, he's going to think he's good on the river. In fact, he's going to lead.
gonna lead
and
on
I
it.
like it. I like it a lot.
And it's big.
Yeah, he's reaching for that
1.5 million.
big stack.
If you have a queen, come get some.
Yeah, so well played there by Dicesoft. goes ahead and tries to slow down Chris onto that flop called bet. And I don't hate Chris's check on the turn,
No,
trying to have some pot control to hit that club. But unfortunately, that was just not any kind of card you can represent on the river when your opponent's already called you on that flop.
without a queen on the river, I think it goes check. Chris bets and actually takes it down. That was just
Yeah,
an
any
unfortunate river
card,
for him.
yeah, a card of any significance, he could definitely get it away there. So it's well played by Diesoft, and I like Chris's line as well. So we have 11 remaining. We will take a quick little break. Once we hit the final table, we get the new players redrawn, put in, and their chip stacks put in for you guys to follow along all the way to the lion's share of $11,000 and change in first place for this tournament. My kicker in the small blind with Queen Jack offsuit decides to complete the big. James, who hasn't played at the table much, picks up pocket sixes and go ahead and shoves it all in there. And he is going to go all in for 1.7. It's not an insignificant amount here to kicker, so he's going to have to think about it a little bit here. Kicker only with 3.4, so it's right about half his stack with this Queen Jack offsuit, which is difficult to do.
Yeah.
But he is going to get a count here. Both of these players qualifying in the Fort Worth room, Poker House Fort Worth. Kicker here seeing how many chips he would have remaining if he decides to make this call. Oh, and he does make the call. He does make the call, so he's going to be in better shape than he expected to be after putting those chips in with the Queen Jack offsuit versus the pocket sixes. So a pretty good pot, 3.8 million between these two stacks, and showing that the pocket sixes of James is the one at risk. And immediately a queen in the window, hurting James down to looking for running straight cards or another six. That Jack giving two pair insignificant and dead to only a six. And it does not quite get there. So my kicker with almost a full double up, it had pretty equal stacks there. The Queen Jack holding against James's pocket sixes. Well played by James to make it this far. Again, everyone here getting at least 800 plus for their efforts as they get knocked out. And for only a $65 entry tournament and beating out over 1,250 other participants to make it this far. These everyone still here has played some fantastic poker to be here where they are. So
It's been a half hour, so they're doing.
yeah, is this where
They're
this
doing
might
a
be?
dealer change now every 30 minutes.
Yeah, and we
Minnesota Mike, that's one of your guys.
yep, Minnesota Mike. Everybody's seen him on the Poker House of Fort Worth streams. Has he dealt one of your live streams here at Peaks yet?
He has. He dealt my live stream back in Dallas last year.
Okay.
He came down with me. I'm probably going to steal him from you.
I know how much he likes dealing with these stream tables. He knows how it works. He enjoys doing it. And right now you're putting on more streams than they are at Fort Worth, so you're probably going to be able to
I might convince
use him pretty well here.
We're down to the final table bubble.
Yep. This is the last place, not worth four figures. So $843 for the next person eliminated. And then we're going up to four figures of $1,018 for ninth place. So everyone at the final table making a four figure on a $65 tournament. Just absolutely incredible. Looks like Toke is going to raise it up here with pocket threes to 500K, putting some pressure on the button and the blinds to come along. Dice off waking up with King Jack offsuit with the newfound pretty good chip stack there. Goes ahead and makes the call. So we're going to go heads up. Dice off King Jack offsuit to Toke's pocket threes. Both of these are pretty decent stacks as well. Squaring off here on a Queen 8 flop. Let's see who can keep with aggression. Dice off going to check this over in flow to Toke, who's the pre-flop aggressor. Let's see if he keeps it up. He looks like the dealer may be getting ready for the. Let's see if Toke continues the aggression here. He chooses not to, so we're going to go to check to a turn. 4 of spades. Checked by Dice off here. Now Toke decides to pull the trigger here, betting what looks like 500,000. Dice soft here. We saw him make a really good call earlier, but don't know if he's going to want to continue on with this one being this close to the final table and that pay jump. And he does go ahead and lay that one down. So Toke picks up a pretty decent pot there with aggression. Quite a few people tuned in to the stream. We appreciate you all watching the Poker House Peaks, Poker House Fort Worth. This was the tournament between the two clubs. $50,000 guarantee tournament for only $65. It's just an amazing tournament, an amazing turnout. We had 1,261 participants for a prize pool that actually went just over $63,000. A fantastic tournament for only a $65 entry. And we're down to 10. It's been since Tuesday. Tuesday, we gave, started this tournament up, 8 flights in each location. 8 flights here at Poker House Peaks, 8 flights at Poker House Fort Worth. 12% getting into the money, and the top 8% out of each flight bagging and tagging and returning today here at Poker House Peaks. Everyone in the money and just trying to ladder up to get to that first place prize of $11,464. That's right, $11,464 for a $65 entry tournament. Just absolutely fantastic. And so everyone, these last 10 you see here have played some absolutely great poker to be here, beating out so many competitors. And like I said, I'm excited to sit here with you guys to see who takes home of that lion's share.
Okay, we're at the final table. I gotta use the bathroom. Yeah, I think we did.
And the players here look like they are taking a quick break as we have lost one person on the outer table, and we are at our final 9. Final 9 players here. So we're going to combine the two tables together, do a redraw, and we're going to get to see everyone that's still involved and how many chips they have in play. So the final table bubble has burst. 9th place is going to be paying $1,018. Let's see if I can get this pulled up here on these payouts. Yeah, there you see it. The first place, $11,464. Just an absolute 5-figure payday for a $65 entry. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to do this tournament again. So stay tuned. But yeah, 9 players left out of 1,261 are going to be coming to this final table. We'll be doing a redraw, getting everyone's names, getting everyone's chip stacks. And you can see the ladders going up there from 9th all the way to 1st. So I'm going to take a quick break while they get everything situated and get the names and the chip stacks set up. I'll leave it on the screen here so you can watch them put everything together. And I will keep an eye on it as well and be joining back you guys for the action to go down to who's going to take home this lion's share. So stick around, stay tuned, As these get drawn, we'll get right back into the action. I'll leave this up on the screen and be right back with you guys as soon as they are ready.
All right, we are back. We're just getting ready to go. Click on seat again.
Yeah, let's take a look and see who is joining us here at this final table.
We got John in the 1 seat, Chris in the 2 seat, Troy in the 3 seat, Pedro in the 4 seat, Kevin in the 5, Toke in the 6, Daisoft still in the 7, my kicker in the 8. Sham, he is a local legend in the 9 seat. He actually, I think he final table probably top 3 the first tournament I did 2 years ago in
Really?
Dallas.
Yeah, he snuck in a bag early in Fort Worth and then an additional bag late. He was a double bagger into this tournament.
Nice. Yeah, he's definitely if you follow him on the social media, he's doing a bankroll challenge this year.
Good.
Starting off with $300 buy-in cash games and seeing how much he can run it up. And he's been publicly showing his wins and losses. It's kind of fun to watch and root along with guys.
Yeah, well, this final table 4-figure payout will definitely help that bankroll
It's gonna help
challenge.
that bankroll.
So that's
Especially for a $65 buy-in, for these low stakes grinders that want to play. Where else can you win $11,000 on a $65 buy-in?
oh, it's absolutely incredible. Like I said, I'm super excited for this event and can't wait for the next one. Looks like Troy is going to be our final table chip leader here with 6.8 million in chips, and Kevin, a couple seats down from him in the 5 at 2.1. So every one of these players is just a double up away from being right at the top. We're going to have definitely a pretty good final table here. Blinds are still 100, 200, 200. So we've got $500,000 in the pot before the hand even begins. So pretty much anybody's game here. Yeah, there's the big blind count there. Troy at the top. My kicker picking up that hand right before the final table formation there. Puts him in second. Like I said, Kevin and Sham and John just one double up away from being right up there. So it's anybody's game, Eric.
Yeah, Troy was on the outside table, so we do not know how he got all those chips. But it's super exciting.
Well, we're going to get to see him put them to work.
Yeah.
And we're about to get started here with the final table of the Summer Jam $50,000 guaranteed tournament. Again, a $50,000 guaranteed tournament that was only a $65 buy-in. So we had 8 flights in 2 different clubs, both clubs running 8 flights. So we started last Tuesday and ran through yesterday. 1,261 entries, and we are down to the final 9.
Yeah, we had to start that hand before that
good update there at the top.
Strip chips would be updated.
Yep. So you can see the chips there at the top, and we'll put them up through as well. But we are down to the final 9. The next person eliminated gets a cool payday of $1,018. And obviously at first place up top, $11,464. And he's just on a $65 entry. You can't say that enough, Eric.
No, it's okay. Did you talk about the triple bag bonus?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit early. Of course, I got caught up in the action. But like I said, we had 8 flights in each location, and you could take 2 bags forward. So you could bag in the top 8% in one flight and then return to another one and get yourself a second bag and combine those 2 bags together. And if you were good enough to get the third bag, take the top 2 in an instant. How much cash?
$500.
That's right. A $500 triple bag bonus. And we had 3 people.
Yeah,
3 people did it. And one of them is here at this final table. My kicker there in the 8th seat. He was one of the triple bag winners. A BK was another one. And what was the last guy's name?
They were all Fort Worth guys. Nobody
yeah,
from Dallas did it.
I feel so bad. He's a super nice guy. But you'll see it on the social media. We took photos of it for the triple bag winners there. They got that instant $500 bonus for their triple bag.
Hey, if you're watching this and you want your friends to see your other friends, like, share, subscribe. It helps with the algorithms. Get all your friends out here watching this.
Quite a few of you tuned in already, and we do appreciate that for the Poker House Peaks and Poker House Fort Worth future live streams that we do weekly. And you can sign up for those live streams at either one of our locations if you'd like to get on and play in some of the games that we have shown over the weeks. Get with Eric and get signed up here at Poker House Peaks, or get with David over at Poker House Fort Worth and get signed up for the live streams. Troy's going to raise it up here with the ace-6 suited. John's going to come along in the big blind to defend what he has in there with queen at 10 offsuit. Minnesota Mike taking us to a flop. And immediately 10 in the window, 8 deuce. So John going to take the lead in this hand. And he immediately goes all in. Just immediately goes all in just to end it.
Yeah. Troy shows an ace and mucks his cards.
Yep. John in the one seat there, he got a bag here at Poker House Peaks and then came over to Fort Worth and got a bag there as well.
I had a couple of guys that bagged last night that had already had a bag from Fort Worth.
Yeah, they just decided for a change of scenery and drive over and change of competition and bagged in each location. And that's tough to do.
You know what really surprised me is how big the fields were in Fort Worth. I thought Dallas would have just been more every night, and we lost every single night. You beat us.
But it was right there.
It was super close.
Pleasantly surprised at the turnout we had in both locations. I will say though, and from talking to the players, not only did I find out from the players, but the data that I compiled definitely spoke true to it. Fort Worth had probably 16 out of the top 20 number of entries for re-entries. Fort Worth was definitely the wilder. Fort Worth was the wilder and crazy play than here at Peaks. It was. I expected the opposite of that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm same. I would have lost that bet.
Yeah, there was definitely more re-entries in Fort Worth. They were definitely firing those at $65 bullets, which is easy to do because it's a great ROI. John here picking up that last pot decides to go ahead and call the big blind of Chris. He did that. We streamed the feature table of one of the flights. I believe it was Wednesday night, or was it Thursday night? I think it was Thursday night. We streamed the flight, and John, I was commenting and I was talking to him afterward. Even today we were talking about it. He likes to limp in a lot in a small blind and just let the big blind decide. But he does it in order to re-raise.
Yeah, and then he just opens.
Yeah,
any flop is in his range.
He's good at picking spots, but he just almost without fail. And the guy that ended up winning, it was the Road to Vegas, I think is what it was. The Road to Vegas that we did a couple weeks ago, and the eventual winner was the chip leader, and to his left, and he just kept limping the small blind and eventually caught a good hand. And when the guy big blind played back at him, he went back over the top and picked up a great pot.
Player in the chat asking, what are the payouts for the final 9 remaining?
There they are right there on your screen. If you can't read them, tell them what's up top there.
They're all going to be thousandaires. First place at $11,464. Next out, guaranteed, is $1,018.
Yeah, and that's just that's huge.
$65
for
entry.
A $65 entry. Yeah, you just
a lot of these guys, not a lot. I'm going to say a dozen of the guys in that prize pool won it on high hand spins.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were doing high hand promotions here at Poker House Peaks. So you had some guys that were just playing and getting free rolling here.
Yeah.
It's going to fold around to Chris in the small blind, making up with pocket kings. No one else having anything else. It's sad to see when the whole table folds to you and you got pocket
He's
kings
not going to make any chips
and
on this
poor
one.
Troy, or benefit for Troy not having anything to combat with.
What's the argument? Do you just limp here when everybody folds and hope
that
Troy tries to bully you? Or do you just pick up the pot?
It's possible. I mean, if you know the person on your left has a pretty good aggressive, tendencies, maybe, but I think it actually looks more fake to raise.
If you just limp in and
if you just limp in or whatever, but if it's fold all the way on the small blind instantly raises, I think that looks more suspect than anything. So,
but I get suspicious if you just limp in. And
Yeah, so tough there for him not be able to pick up anything with the pocket kings, but does pick up another big blind, which is what tournament poker is all about: is surviving the orbits, surviving the eliminations, and getting that ladder up.
Are we still at 1,000 or 100,000, 200,000?
That's what it was a few moments ago. It has not come up quite yet. We will see here whenever we get to the in between the hands. I believe it shows it up on the bottom left there. So quite a few people tuned in to watch this final table action. Let us know in the chat where you're at. Let us know who you're rooting on if you're watching a specific player. Watching from Fort Worth or Dallas or elsewhere in the state. I know we have a lot of locations over the state, and a lot of people tune in to the live streams from other places. And let us know who you're cheering on. Kevin going to be under the gun here in the 5 seat. Ships it all in with King Queen offsuit. 2.1 million. Not a small stack, but definitely within shoving range. And
Yeah.
Sham. Here's
Wow.
Yeah, makes the call.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for Kevin. Then we did see, and I think I saw another queen fold. There's another ace fold, so we may see a lot of flops here with just ace king good.
Pedro's going to look down. If he says that ace first, he's going to get excited. But no, never mind. He says there's a deuce behind it.
Now, who's that in the box going to take us through this hand?
This is Renee. Renee's been my traveling dealer for 15 years.
Well, Renee is going to have Kevin's fate here in this $50,000 guaranteed tournament in her hands as Sham has made the call with ace king. I'm getting the graphics set up here.
Tyler's walking her through where to put those cards. We
yeah.
never had an overhead camera when I was doing traveling
10,
tournaments.
9, 10. It's about as good as you can get without hitting the queen jack here for Kevin.
Oh,
there's the queen. Big needed hit there.
It needs a jack. There's only 2 live jacks.
Yep.
Full house for Kevin.
Yep. So Kevin is going to stay alive. Stay alive in a big double up there, courtesy of Sham, who you just have no choice. You get ace king in this position at this table. You just got to make that call.
Sham's left with less than a big blind. He's got 0 big blinds left.
That's going to be
math is correct.
It's going to be a tough hill to come back from, but again, that's tournament poker there. He had the best hand, got it in best, and then you just hope for the rest. So big pot there for Kevin. And Sham going to be able to look at a few hands here before the big blind gets to him, and he's going to be forced to put it in the middle. So hopefully he'll wake up with something soon. So anybody else here at this final table that plays any of the streams that I don't know about? I see you have some of the graphics with their big pictures on there.
Well, I went and added all the graphics. Our streams are pretty big cash games, so the type of player that plays on our like our 5-10 with a match to stack type buy-in, they're not the type of players that usually fire at a $65 tournament.
Makes sense. But maybe whoever wins the lion's share of that 11K might sit in on one of those streams.
Oh, definitely. That being said, a lot of the guys did come and play. They're just not as good at tournament poker.
That's completely understandable. I've watched and commentated on the stream, so they don't really have play conducive to tournament style.
They're like, wait,
they play for fun.
I need more chips.
Kevin here just got these chips and already going to lead down at ace king, and is definitely going to put them back into action. He's just going to shove it again.
Just rip it again.
Yeah, and I like it too. I really like that move.
He's got 25 big blinds now, or 22.
Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and put Chris to the test. Chris raised it up here to 600K.
Wow.
So yeah, I like that move out of Kevin. No reason to flat there and just have to fold to any bet on the flop that you miss. Just go ahead and see if he'll lay it down now, which he entirely did.
And you get to see all 5 cards if he doesn't.
Yeah, great move there. Super saying he played at Peaks yesterday, cash game, cheering for my kicker.
Oh, man. They ran that cash game till 6 a.m.
Yeah, we were texting. And that's why we both had about 3 hours sleep.
Yep. Yeah.
I was telling him earlier, as soon as this thing is over, I'm going to smile, shake hands, take photos, and I'm going to go sleep for about 2 days. Sure, you're looking forward to doing the same.
I'm excited for it. It looks like a missed deal.
Oh, got one slid over there.
Okay.
Better to find out now than kill the hand later.
So these RFID cards are thicker. They are poker size cards, index cards, and they're a little bit thicker because of those RFID chips.
Yeah, they're a little bit thicker, and that so they're because they're a little stiffer as well. It's definitely different to deal these live stream cards.
And this is actually, like I said, she's been dealing for me on the Mid-States Poker Tour when I was traveling around the country for the last decade plus. And but she hasn't been dealing the live stream for a couple of years since the pandemic shut us down in 2020.
Well, for a 10 plus year dealer vet, they definitely feel different to deal. I promise you that. Not a lot coming around the table here. Blinds are 150, 250, 250. So we're talking 650 in the pot before the first action is made. So you're going to see some chips move around. I have a feeling we're going to get from 9 down to about 4 pretty quickly.
Yeah, and then it'll even out. Shams, now, for a while, we might see play stall until Sham busts because its ICM is just really silly to bust before Sham does right now.
Right.
He's got less than a big blind left.
And the ladder up from 9th to 8th is,
what, a couple $100?
Almost $300.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's when Sham's only got one big left, you're not trying to get involved, trying to see what happens to him.
It's like 5 buy-ins. So people will tighten up a little bit to let the short stacks bust out, and then they'll start playing again.
Yeah, just Sham's got about 3 hands to look at before he's going to be forced to put those chips in the middle, or pretty close to it.
Yep. And he's going to want to do it under the gun instead of in the big blind, so that he can pick up the ante along with the blinds. So there's little free chips in there for him.
Many times I've been in a tournament where I'm under the gun and I'm down to nothing and I don't even look at my cards. I just pretend I did and just put them in the middle.
The math
all the
makes
chips
sense.
in the middle.
Yes,
so you can get the maximum value. Chris here with King Queen offsuit, going to raise this up to 550. Pedro with the suited ace deuce, very tempting to come along with, but it's for a quarter of a stack, so it's not quite time yet. Kevin with nothing, 6-9 offsuit. Toke here with the King 10 offsuit, definitely hard to call unless he just wants to defend his small blind and chooses not to. Dice off 4-3 suited of diamonds, going to make the completion here in the big blind, and I do not mind that call. It's a pretty sneaky hand, can definitely get paid. And we saw Chris's outs get folded a little bit. Ooh, there you go.
Wow.
Look at that flop.
He's got a flush draw, but there's only 3 diamonds left in the deck. So the computer says 9 outs, but we know it's 3. So instead of 39%, it's like 13.
If that. Yeah, that's but unfortunately Dicesoft does not know that, and so I see him playing this one to the hilt. He did lead out into Chris here for 750.
Oh yeah.
And I don't hate the move. You're kind of setting your own price to chase the diamonds. And Chris, I don't hate it. I mean, he's got a call here. There's just nothing you can do.
If he raises, kind of a find out where I'm at type raise, and Dicesoft shoves, yeah, he does. He's just all in. He's just going to rip it. So he's not going to give Dicesoft an option.
Well, you're about to say, does Dicesoft just go ahead and rip?
Yeah, I thought Chris would raise and Dicesoft would shove it in. Now, what does Chris do? But Chris just took that out of the equation and said, "I'm shoving. What are you going to do now?"
Well, Dicesoft does have him out chipped by almost 1 million in chips, but that's not a lot right now with the blinds as high as they are. And like you said a moment ago, Sham is on life support, so we're talking about a $300 swing here for Dicesoft. If he calls and loses, he could go out before Sham. But he's in the big line now, so technically, mathematically, he could survive it. But do you want to hang your hat on a 5-day event?
Oh, he's grabbing chips.
Yeah, he's said he's beaten out over 1,250 players. Do you want to hang your hat on a 4-high flush draw? It's a tough call there for die.
It's very, very tough.
And I don't know. I guess I don't hate it either way.
Now, he could also be thinking, I need all the chips to win this tournament for the 11,000. I really don't care about the 300 ladder right now.
That's true. That's true.
And,
Some of these guys are playing for up ladder instead of just
yeah.
laddering.
If he hits a flush,
Be a pretty decent $7 million pot.
8.6 he'd have
Yeah,
if he wins this 5 million that's out there.
which would be a pretty significant chip leader as well. Like I said, I can see him lay it down. I can see him calling it off. It's
I lean towards folding.
the only reason I would fold is your opponent, unfortunately, can have a lot of diamond draws here as well. I don't know. It seems
He does let it
unlikely,
go.
but yeah, goes ahead and lets that go. And I think it's a good fold. I think it was a good stab.
Yep.
Kind of setting your price. And I've always been a big believer that if I have a flush draw, I don't mind betting out of it because it allows you not only 2 chances to hit the flush, but you can add some more chances by giving your opponent a chance to fold. So you go from 2 chances to 3 or 4 chances by firing those bullets.
Plan A, they fold. Plan B, you get there.
Yep. Saw a lot of that. But I don't get to play a whole lot of cards, but since I've been stuck around here in card rooms the last couple of weeks, I've been playing the last few days, and it's not as fun for me anymore. I'm telling you, I just want to go to sleep, Eric, when I'm playing cards. You're trying to think of all the different things and the strategies and the ways, and like these guys are thinking about all of the options and where they're at in the positions, and I don't have the energy for it anymore. These guys have been playing hours and hours and hours of poker and
They grind.
just keeping it up to the highest level.
Yes.
So Sham's going to let the cards do the deciding for him, it looks like. Go ahead and fold in under the gun there. Chris with the King Jack off, so we're going to raise this up to 550,000. No one else waking up with much anything else here, so he's going to pick up some blinds there, which is good to do.
Very fortunate.
And oh no, kicker made the call. He just slid it out there. It looked like he's sliding his cards, but he was just shoving chips. 6-4-6 on this flop, missing both players. My kicker looking for diamonds or 7. Missed the diamonds, hit a 7 for a gut shot. There's another 6. First aggressor is going to take this one down. Kicker not choosing to do that at this time. You know, Chris did a lot of stop and goes earlier, betting pre, checking flop, and then betting turn, and he's going to continue to do that again here, betting 600,000. And Kicker's going to make the call.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to pretend.
Interesting. So we know a 5 or an 8 will give him the best hand. I think he's hoping for a 7.
But with 3 out there on the flop, you can put your opponent on a pocket pair and you're drawing dead even if you make your straight.
That's true.
But Kicker here, he could have
bad intentions.
Yeah, devious thoughts to he does let it go. Boy, I would have liked to see the $2 million bet right there.
Yeah, Chris checks back with showdown value with the king high.
Yeah, you're never going to bet there. You might as well just try to get if you're beat, you're beat. Or
bad spot to bluff. Let's hear it for Chris.
Yep. Soundboard there. Oh, I feel like Kicker was wanting to bet that so much on the river. I wish he would have. $2 million bet there. It'd been half a stack, but he would have definitely taken it down.
Ooh, Shamari. He's
mostly all in the blind.
No, he's all in.
He's got some chips sitting in front of him. Looks like
that's his blind, I think.
Oh, that's the ante. Yeah, so he's in for the big blind first, and then the ante.
So he does have a little bit more than what the graphic says.
Yeah, I was.
Oh wait. No, I'm sorry. They just updated now. Now it says 450. It did say 250, and they just updated it to 450.
Well, maybe he can pick up a good hand here, get himself through the blinds, and see some more hands.
All right, let's go, Sham.
He's got Queen 10 in the big blind. Let's see what else anybody else wakes up with here. Troy +2, King 10 of spades.
See, Sham's got a better hand because he's got 2 flush draws, though. Troy's only got the 1.
But Troy's going to lay it down.
No, Troy's in the 3 seat. He's
Oh, that's him right there. You're right. You're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Chris folded, but
Chris
but
folded,
Troy's I wouldn't be surprised if. So there's two ways to look at that. Do you raise and go heads up with Sham, or do you just call and let everybody see it and gang up on him
Yeah,
to
see,
ladder up?
I'm a
Yeah.
math guy. I just limp and let whoever else limps, and we just check it down and try to eliminate
I
somebody.
like Troy's bet. King 10 suited versus a random blind hand.
Oh,
I
you're
like my
good there. Yeah,
chances.
don't get me wrong. I don't
So
hate the raise at all.
Let's
for
raise,
sure.
clear the field, and let
Yeah.
me go up against some random blind hand.
I'm all about that. I'm the guy that likes to ladder in my tournaments. So kicker looks like he folded. So King 10 versus Queen 10. Sham is in tough place, but we've seen the underdog win before here on this feature table today. So we'll see what comes of it. Looking for a queen or lots of straight cards. Ace, 7, deuce. Not going to do it here.
Yeah, we're not going to see anything until Tyler hits fold for my kicker.
Yeah.
So the graphic, he's got to hold on just a second. He's got to back that up, and there it is.
A jack on the river doesn't have anything, so we are going to lose Mr. Sham. Fantastically played, sir. 9th place, good for a little over 1,000 and change on a $65 buy-in. Like I said, double bagger from Fort Worth. Fantastic play, sir.
Yep. Frederick Anthony in the chat saying Sham's about to triple up. I wish it was so.
Not quite.
We're gonna have a dead small now. And then there were 8. Pull up that payouts graphic.
There it is right there. So Sham in 9th place, like I said, picking up that first 4-figure payout, a little over 1,000 and change. So now we are up to $1,301 bills for the next person eliminated, which is a pretty solid payout for a $65 tournament. Absolutely fantastic. Not just that, but these guys have beat, over 1,250 people to get here. They've played it great to get to this point. It's a massive tournament, massive turnout, 8 flights in each location, Poker House Peaks and Poker House Fort Worth. These guys got 8%, the top 8% of the flight to get here. Some of you did it 2 times, and the guy betting out the Ace 10 suited did it 3 times for that $500 triple bag bonus. He's going to show the goods there to let people know that he's not getting out of line. But yeah, my kicker there in the 8-seat triple bag bonus for $500. Very well played. I think he fired here at Peaks as well. I think he fired bullets in both locations.
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
Quite a few people rooting on Diesoft in the chat so far the last hour or so. Still alive, still with chips. The blinds are not getting any cheaper. It's a pretty painful orbit, every orbit, to pay that small and big blind plus the ante. Pedro, waking up with Ace King offsuit, does go ahead and shove this +1. Nothing there for
10 big
Kevin.
blinds.
Yeah. My kicker, we've seen him call with less.
This is tough. He's got a suited King Jack.
Yeah, we've seen him call with less. So we may see him make this call here for 2.5 million.
It's going to be half his stack.
Yeah.
I think it's too early on the final table to be flipping and calling. If he could be first,
Yeah, but
maybe.
He did it just a minute ago.
Let's turn that table mic up just a little bit and see what they're saying.
I don't think I've seen my kicker think this long before. He's definitely thinking long and hard about it. He does make the call. There you go. Oh, and Chris right behind him
Chris
at,
lets it go.
at pocket eights.
He's got 6 million.
Does he?
Does he isolate or does he? I can see all three options available.
I mean,
You got
my kicker doesn't have much more behind. No, he's got 2.1 behind here because
Yeah.
the count there.
He's got half his stack.
If Chris feels like my kicker is the type of guy to just let it run out and try to eliminate a player, I don't know. I don't. You're not so much worried about my kicker that called because my kicker could have any pocket pair, and it could be less than eights.
He does let it go.
Yeah, I think it's a good fold. You got ICM implications here, laddering up for each place. So my kicker makes the call against Pedro. King, jack of spades, looking for a jack or lots of spades to eliminate Pedro on the flop. King 9-6.
I think it all gets in on this flop regardless.
Yeah, with these blind levels. Jack and only a jack is going to eliminate Pedro. It does not happen there. So Pedro gets the full double up courtesy of my kicker. It's going to be a mountain of plaques and chips being shipped over there. 5.6 million worth. And after just a few hands here of this final table, seeing a little bit of a shift. Chris run it up, trying to catch Troy just over that 6 million mark. Shan eliminated ninth, and that's going to put my kicker down at the bottom of the stack with 8 bigs. My kicker losing a couple hands there to bring it down to just over 2 million in chips.
Yeah, I don't hate the call. If you need to pick up all the chips in this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, that's the
put him
thing
he wants to put himself in a good spot to win, not just keep laddering.
Yeah, and that's what's important is what are you going for? You know, the ladders are real for a lot of people. You know, $300-$400 a piece. But at the end of the day, you're going to need the lion's share of the chips to get to that 11,000 much easier. There's Toke here making a quick move from middle position with the queen jack of spades. Looks like he's going to raise this up to 575,000. Chris is going to see a flop here with his pocket deuces. Trying to sneakily find a deuce here on this flop.
Oh.
Jack, Trey, 9. Top pair for Toke does take the lead. Let's see how Toke plays this. If he slows it down any. Chris is going to play first with pocket deuces. You could see him lead out here a lot and get immediately announced by Toke as far as raising him up or...
That beeping in the background tells us the blinds are going up next hand.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Yeah, see, I thought he might fire this out here.
This is such a good structure for a $65 tournament. It's too good for a $65 tournament.
The players made out like bandits on this tournament.
They did.
And there's a raise there out of Toke, just trying to end the hand right now. I think that's a red flag there for Chris, obviously. And
he's asking for a count.
Yeah, but I think it's more for posture
Yeah.
and show. I don't think he's ever calling this here. He made a stab with the deuces, which is fine. I don't hate the stab at all. And now that he's got called, he's going to posture and show, and there's fold. Yeah, so good play there by Toke.
Oh, this is going to be a big one. We've got Kevin with king queen under the gun. Right behind him, Toke's got ace queen. Kevin's going to make a. I'm just going to raise it up to 650. The blinds just went up. Now they're both bigger stacks, and you don't really want to fight the big stack at the table in this situation. You want to kind of bust out the shorties. Action is going to fold all the way over to Pedro in the 4 seat with a jack deuce in the big blind. He's already got almost half of the money invested with his big blind and his ante. 2.1 in the pot is going to cost him $350,000 to call with a suited jack deuce. He does let it go. We are heads up. Kevin and Toke. King queen against ace queen. If there's a king on this board, that's going to be a bad board for Kevin. 4, 5, 7, 2 diamonds. Pretty innocuous. I think Kevin might continue. No, he just checks it. The 4, 5, 7 is not in his pre-flop ranging. Toke fires at it. 500,000. 25% pot bet. It's going to get through the best hand. Eight players left out of $1,261. It's a $65 buy-in, $30,000 starting stack with that $10 instant bonus. $150,000 small blind, 300,000 big blind, 10 big blinds, 10 starting stacks to make up one big blind now. Chris in the cutoff with king queen. I expect a raise, probably make it 650. $650. He's going to pick up the blinds and ante. Add 750,000 chips to his stack. You can only lose those blinds and antes so often before you have to make a move. Mike back in the box. That tells me it's been 2 hours. I've got 4 dealers on this stream. Each one takes a half hour apiece.
All right, good luck.
Chris has a real hand. Ace, queen of spades in the hijack. Now it's going to start to look like he's stealing when he keeps raising pre-flop, and Troy might decide to call him light from the cutoff. Chris makes it 650 again. Troy has a hand that is not nothing. Suited middle connectors. The hands I really like to play. They're easy to get away from after the flop. It can be tricky to play them though. He does come out with a nice 3-bet. Pedro's thinking about it with a 4-5 suited. Oh, wow. He's going to make a move. He's going to rip it in. He doesn't believe Chris, and he doesn't believe Troy. So Troy 3-bets it to $1 million, and Kevin just rips it in with pocket queens for $4.1 million. Action folds back to Chris. He's asking for a count. He might want to go to war with the ace queen. Ace queen is a really pretty hand. But not only Chris, he also has to worry about Troy coming along with something important. Interesting decision for Chris. It's going to cost him the majority of his chips to make the call with ace queen. I love his small 3-bet, or excuse me, his small raise. It leaves him more chips if he decides to fold. He did not waste any chips. And against a 3-bet and a 4-bet, I think this is a fold. I need some GTO wizards to tell me, with the stack sizes in play and the money jumps, do you fold ace queen suited right here? Even if you think Troy is light, you can't think Kevin is. You hope he has 2 jacks or something that you have a fair fight with 2 overcards, but Kevin has him dominated with pocket queens.
Lower on 11.
Sounds like they're going to call a clock. Let's listen to this. Whoops, wrong one. Try this again. Yeah, Michael Flowers in the chat says, I'm pretty sure that's a fold. I would have to agree. You know, you might want to jam over Troy's 3-bet, but when Kevin shoves, I think it's a fold.
Four.
Hey, I agree, Jackson. That is a 6 spot.
Clock has been called on the 2 seat. Actually, been given, but we've also been waiting about a minute. 6 more.
He does have 30 seconds. David Big Haas from Fort Worth coming over to be the floor for this tournament. He does let it go. That's going to be a good fold, and Troy's just going to snap fold to Jack 9. He's going to posture for just a little bit. I wonder what Troy's thinking. Is he posturing that long with the Jack 9 suited, or was he ever considering it? Maybe he just didn't want Chris to know that he was raising light. But regardless, he lets it go. Let's look at these stack sizes. It's across that strip on top, but let's look at it in order. This is a third playable hand for Chris with Queen a Jack. But it looks like John's going to open it before it gets to him. $300 to call. John's going to make it $750. Small enough raise that dice off decides to defend with king high. King 7 offsuit in the big blind. 2 million in the pot. Basically a pot-sized bet for both of these players. Great flop for John. He's got a queen high flush draw. He is technically behind the king high of Diesoft, but statistically he's got a 54% chance of winning this, and I think he's just going to rip it. I think that's the play, and he does. Diesoft cannot consider calling with king high, and we're on to the next one.
I see we still have 8 players remaining.
We do. You only missed like one hand. Chris got the clock called on him. He opens with ace queen, and Troy 3-bets him to $1 million, and then Kevin jams all in. Ace queen suited. He tanks and tanks and tanks. They finally call the clock, and he ends up folding. Luckily, Kevin had pocket queens.
Oh, Kevin jammed with
So,
the pocket
yeah.
queen. Yeah.
But that was probably a 5-minute hand, which
Well, that I didn't miss much.
you missed the one hand.
Pedro here going to raise this up with ace 4 suited. Tell you the ace suited wheels are just the new ace king these days.
They are the GTO wizards. They say something about unblocking, and I don't understand all their fancy words.
Stuff that I don't pay any attention to. I'm sure they're way smarter than I am.
They do studies and stuff and use charts.
You
Just look at the guy's neck pulsing and go, I'm going to fold.
know, that did come up in the course of this tournament. And of course, it came up in the WSOP this year as well. People using charts
Right?
and solvers at the table. And
Not allowed during the hand.
yeah, just for everyone's knowledge, you're not allowed to be on your phone during the hand. And Jack Effel sort of took the same stance that I took, and I think we're going to take from here on out is if you're in a hand, you can't be on your phone. But if you want to study charts when you don't have a hand in front of you, there's not much we can do about it other than ban cell phones from tournaments. And that's kind of what Jack was talking about was can't take away phones completely. So you're never going to take it away completely. So just have to stick to the rule that you can't be on your phone while you're on a hand.
I was doing tournaments probably 8 to 10 years ago in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And there was like in the middle of a cornfield, there was no cell towers. And everybody was going crazy that their phones wouldn't work. And then after about an hour, they just, were resigned to the fact that I don't have a phone. And they put their phones away and they started talking to each other. And it was
a
fun.
great time, wasn't it?
It
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is amazing. Look at how nice these guys are. This is fun.
Pedro going to raise it up with king queen suited. Unfortunately, my kicker is going to wake up with ace king behind him and shove in the rest of his deck, which isn't much, but
He's got 4 big blinds. That's going to be an easy call with a king queen suited.
yeah. And my kicker can't ask for how much better to wake up with.
Pedro way behind.
He's got the ace of diamond cover. And so my kicker looking to get a double up here through Pedro.
We got any My Kicker fans in the chat?
Yeah, we saw some earlier. From Fort Worth. Of course, kicker played here and in Fort Worth.
Yep. He's a stud.
Plays a lot on stream. I'm familiar with him from the streams before I even made my way over to Fort Worth.
Remote commentary is a great thing.
It really is. And to a flop, 9, 10, deuce, couple diamonds. So never not a sweat here. Kicker needing to avoid any diamonds to stay alive. And unfortunately, he needs another diamond.
One more.
Now he needs a diamond to stay alive and does not get it. So my kicker, who had a fantastic journey in this tournament, eliminated in 8th
He was in
place.
a great spot to double up.
Yeah, that was a fantastic run by my kicker. And his name's Trurong. And he got 8th place for $1,301. And like I said, and the $500 for the triple bag. He was one of the triple baggers.
Right.
So that's an $1,800 tournament there for my kicker. Well done, sir. So, yeah, Napalm said, need that ginger ale. Known for his ginger ale. Came and played here in Dallas without his ginger ale. So then there were 7. Look and see. 7th place is worth $1,697. And we're only going up from there, Derek. It's the ladders.
Yeah, that's a good day.
The ladders looks great in this tournament. This tournament is $63,050 total prize pool on a $65 buy-in. $1,261 entries, and we are down to 7. And what was the dealer's name again?
This is Michael.
Michael.
Michael lives about 2 hours away in Oklahoma.
Really? Drives over here to deal?
Yeah, so he comes down on a Thursday, deals Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and drives back home.
Hey, I know a lot of dealers that do that, and it's Nice to work 3-4 days a week, make good money, and go home and relax.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what it was like to work 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, I work 3 or 4 days a day.
And Pedro can raise it up to 600K with pocket nines. Kevin waking up deuces, lets them go. Toke with the same hand. Who's going to play it better, Eric?
It's going to be in favor of Toke being in position
Yeah.
in the hijack. The most aggressive player typically wins when they're sharing the same cards.
Yeah, I was going to say, depends on if, Pedro's been pretty passive. He was on the feature table when we had 2 tables, and he made a couple big laydowns. Nothing just over the moon, but
It might have
a
been laddering
couple-
also.
yeah, a couple hands that he let go that other people would call. So we'll see what kind of aggression he shows here. What kind of flop we're looking at. Troy thinking long about the ace jack.
He might just blow them both out of the water.
It's possible. 4.5 million in chips.
I'm not going to say he's short stack, but he's the shortest one of these 3. And there's a mindset when you come to the table as a huge chip lead and you lose a couple of pots, and all of a sudden your average stack, you feel
like you're
man,
down. Yeah, upstuck.
Yeah. So he might decide to do something crazy here.
And when you see an effective min click and a flat behind,
that's scary.
Ace Jack is a perfectly good hand to squeeze with. And that's exactly what he's doing here. And it's not going to be easy for Pedro's going to have a harder time here knowing that Toke is behind him.
Exactly.
Number one. So if he's going to lay this down here more often than not because he's got Toke behind him, but then Toke doesn't necessarily have a fantastic easy decision either. He's Troy's not all in. Looks like he has about 4.8 total, and Toke only has 6.4. So Toke could decide to flip for a fantastic chip lead, or Troy just picks up a cool million and change uncontested.
So Troy bet 2.6, and he's got 2.2 behind.
Yeah.
So he put in half his stack. So
he's not folding.
Just understand when the flop comes out, he's all in blind.
Yeah, and that's
getting 4 to 1 on his money.
That's what Pedro and Toke have to realize is basically he's playing for stacks.
Pedro's doing the math.
And Pedro's still here doing the math, thinking about how much he would have left. And, he hasn't given so much as a glance over to Toke. He knows he's there, but he looks like he's definitely thinking more about the decision between him and Troy than even worrying about Toke.
In his mind, maybe.
Oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I was looking for.
He's like, oh, wait a second. I forgot that guy's still here.
That's what I was looking for.
I was going to say, in his mind, he might think, well, if Toke didn't raise me, then
it's possible I could still be best too.
Then I'm not worried about him. But then he went, oh, wait, he is still there.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I was waiting for him to see if he ever glanced over there. And then as soon as he did, he decided to make the decision there, seeing those big bricks of orange that Toke has accumulated. Now it's his turn to do a countdown on what he would have left after making this call, how much he wants to gamble, thinking that it could be a coin flip. I don't know Toke that well. Could Toke realize that that's just a fantastic squeeze opportunity for Troy, and Troy may not be as strong as
as a 4
as a true 3-bet would be otherwise.
It's hard to make a pair, Reese.
Oh yeah.
Is this the time to take a flip? You got 21 big blinds, 6.4 million.
Yep.
He does let it go. We will never know who's
Yep.
going to win against the 9-9 versus 9-9.
I was
ruined that for us.
I was all ready for that interest play of
wondering
of the aggression versus position.
Yeah, position and the
And
pre-flop aggressor. If
Troy ruined it all.
Thanks a lot, Troy. Little social experiment you just ruined for us.
Troy picks up a quarter of a stack, just uncontested though. So
That's nice. That's
cannot-
nice for Troy.
cannot beat that. So 7 players remaining in this $50,000 guarantee tournament that we blew out of the water early on Saturday with a $63,000 in change prize pool. And we're going to have a couple hands to wake up to immediately as well. Kevin under the gun with pocket 10s. Let's see what kind of prize he sets to continue on this hand. Definitely got to raise it up here, and he does. Looks like 700K. Toke with the new ace king, ace tray of diamonds. Dice off, letting it go. And it looks like this one may just get all the way through the field, and it probably will.
Napalm says the table should just do a 7-way chop and just to stick it to my kicker
That would have been
for busting in 8th place.
that would have been kind of funny. Bust out a guy, and everybody just says chop.
If you look at any of my Hendon Mob caches,
Mhm.
as soon as I bust, there's a chop because I'm known as the chop block.
You're the chop
Yeah.
blocker.
I'm like, I don't pay the bubble and I don't chop, guys.
Oh wow, ruthless.
I'm here to play.
Play the game.
Well,
I like it.
Paying the bubble does not eliminate the bubble; it moves the bubble.
True. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what I'm doing, how big the tournament is.
And it's very difficult if I'm in my own room.
Yeah,
playing
because
against
you're
my own players,
trying to be amicable
and
to
all
your
of a sudden
customers.
they're like, "Hey, let's pay the bubble," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" No. But and I don't care about the money. I just want to play correctly. I don't care about hey, everybody's
Yeah.
throwing $20 for the bubble.
And, I've heard that sentiment echoed the last probably 2 years now. Nobody plays heads up anymore.
Right.
Nobody plays 2, 3-handed, 4-handed,
Right.
because they play in these tournaments week in, week out in these locations. They end up chopping 2, 3 ways, and all of a sudden, you ever play something major event with big bucks, and you don't have any heads up experience anymore.
Exactly. You get destroyed.
Yeah.
It's
very real.
For 10 years, 2012 to 2020, when the pandemic hit, I traveled around the country putting on $1,100 buy-in tournaments, anywhere from $150 to $1 million prize pools at the Venetian. And you could tell when we streamed the final table, if you got to the final table, you're pretty good at poker.
Oh yeah,
right, for the most part. But you would see at 9-handed and 8-handed and about 5-handed, you could see people fidgeting.
Start to get.
They're going, hey, floor, we're short. Bring us somebody, and there's nobody coming.
Yeah.
And
nobody's used to it
they're
anymore.
not allowed to chop in our tournaments.
Yeah.
And not only is all the money up top, but when you're not allowed to chop, you could see who's been there before and who's always chops.
It's a very real thing. Like I said, it's people just don't play down to a winner anymore, and there's not a lot of heads-up experience left in the world, and so they end up in those positions and don't know what to do with themselves when the blinds hit them every third hand.
Turn up the table volume for just a little bit. They just paused the action.
Could be discussing a chop here.
Pause the clock.
I never pause the clock.
Game for a chop at the number two, right? Let's try that. So that way we're not running that clock down.
No, I never pause the clock, Michael.
That deposit whenever you're doing the ICM calculation. No, that's on them. Okay.
You can do stuff that you want. You can stop playing, but I'm not gonna. I used to pause the clock, and they'll sit there for a half hour thinking about it. So when that clock is ticking, it puts an urgency on them to make a decision or keep playing.
Well, let's take a look at the chip stacks here, since they're talking about a chop. Dice off the short stack at 2.3. Troy leading the pack at 7.3. So there's.
It's going to be a pretty solid. All right, let's see.
and take a look at the payouts here. See what kind of money they're talking about here.
Yeah, Troy just won a couple of hands, so he's back up as the chip leader. So spoiler.
There you go. It does have an update there.
Spoiler,
Okay.
Tyler is on the ball, and he put in the ICM numbers. Do you have a photo of what Poker Atlas looked like before?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But this is the number that I was going to look up here. This is what the ICM would be if they agree
Explain
to
what
this
ICM
chop
is
here.
to the people who don't know.
ICM is called Independent Chip Model. The long story short is it is a calculation of your chips versus the number of chips in play. Now, a lot of people think that it's just a percentage base. So if you got 10% of the chips in play, you get 10% of the money. It doesn't quite work like that. It's based upon how many chips you have and also the differences between the values of the prizes. So if there's a big jump in the prizes, the independent chip model, chip versus profit, does take into account. It sounds like a lot of nerd speak, but the bottom line is essentially takes how many chips you have of the total chips in play and weights it a little bit against the risk involved on how much each place is worth. But it's called ICM, and you'll see that a lot. All the pros are doing that these days.
Yeah, there's apps you can get the ICMizer,
Mm-hmm.
however they pronounce that. I created my own spreadsheet years ago.
Did you?
That's more of a chip chop than actual ICM.
Yeah, so you just do a pure percentage weight.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what I did in my spreadsheet is I give everybody next place money because they're guaranteed that.
Right.
And then based on the percentage of chips you have, you get a percentage of the leftover prize pool. And then I type in all the calculations because I'm a nerd that loves spreadsheets. And then I show it to the players and I said, this is the math. Now you guys discuss what you want, because I have seen it before where some people will say, okay, you're supposed to get X and I'm supposed to get Y, but I'm better than you. So you take, W and give me Z and we'll do it. And I've seen that happen. And
that's too funny.
And it's, some people, if it's not a big deal, they'll just say, yeah, I'll take that.
Right.
But some people are like, you know what? If we keep playing, I will beat you. You got lucky a couple times and you know it.
Oh,
So let's make a little deal. And I just tell people, this is the math. You guys do what you want with it and tell me what you want to do, because it is ultimately your money, your price pool. Messes up my TV show.
Yeah. We kind of, if they agree to a chop here, it kind of ruins the stream for you guys. But at the end of the day, these guys have been playing since Tuesday. They chose. We've been doing this tournament since Tuesday. A lot of people, there's only a $65 tournament. But they've played a lot of poker to get to the point where they are. 1,261 entries, 7 people left. And so even if they choose to chop this up here, these guys have earned their way to this spot.
This is great.
And a 3.3K to 5.8K range between these 7 guys is a heck of a return on a $65 tournament. And that just can't be reiterated enough.
And if I'm being honest, I don't hate going home 3 hours early.
I need sleep like you would not believe. So do you.
I'm so tired. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's it. They agreed to ICM chop it. Tyler put the numbers up. All that's left is for them to red black, but I saw a bunch of thumbs up. So we're done with the stream, brother. What's next?
Well, you tell me, what do you got going on here at Poker House Peaks?
So we do a free roll every day at noon. That's exciting. I've been getting killed on it. We've started this a month ago with a $1,500 guarantee. I did not make that guarantee ever. So we reevaluated for July. We're going to back it down to a more realistic goal of a $1,000 guarantee for a free tournament with a $25 rebuy. That's more realistic.
Yeah, you can't beat that. That's pretty good though still.
Yeah, so that is still a great tournament.
Tell me about the high hands and cash game. That's what I'm most excited about.
What's so exciting about is we just changed the high hands. We were going to change it for July, but in our management meeting. They said, let's just change it right now. We've got a bunch of eyes on us playing this tournament. Let's go ahead and roll out the new promotion. Instead of going noon to 6 every hour, where the high hand spins the wheel for $50 to $300, we doubled it. We went from noon to midnight, and we're going every half
huge.
hour. So you've got an opportunity to every 30 minutes. They're spinning that wheel, and we got crushed on it yesterday. I think 3 guys hit 300. A guy hit 200.
Wow.
They just crushed.
And what's the qualifier on the high hand?
Just a full house.
Just a
using
full house.
one card.
One card.
There is one stipulation: you have to win the hand.
Yeah.
So if you and I
chop it with
chop,
somebody, right?
if you and I chop, we don't both get to spin, right?
Right.
So you have to win the hand. And it was so funny. My last video, I went live, and one of our players had like a tens full of sevens or something like that,
Mhm.
and he was getting up to spin, but it was the last hand of the half hour, and there was 2 guys all in with 2 queens on the board. They both flip up a queen, and I'm live. I'm on Facebook Live, and he's sweating it, going, "Oh my god! If one of these guys hits a full house, I lose the spin." The 5 pairs on the river to give them both a full house, and they start jumping for joy. And I'm going, no, guys,
Nope.
you have to win the hand. And I spin it back to Luke, and I go, you win on a technicality.
That's hilarious.
If either one of them would have hit their whole card, they would have beaten him. But yeah, so that's just a great promotion. Starts at noon, gets done at 6. Free memberships all day, every day for veterans, first responders, police, and firemen. We do $13 an hour. You can buy in bulk, get 5 hours for $55, makes it $11 an hour. You can get 10 hours for $100, makes it $10 an hour. Just great promotions here. We still have that bad beat jackpot that's going on between the other clubs. I think that's around 48,000 or something like that right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're going to play poker somewhere, you might as well play where you're going to get the most back out of it. And the promotions here at Poker House Peaks and at Poker House Fort Worth are second to none in the DFW area on just what you get just for playing. And so these guys are all happy, shaking hands, and they should be. $3,300 all the way up to $5,800 based upon chips, stacks, and these guys are only playing in a $65 tournament. This $50,000 summer jam, $50,000 guarantee was surpassed by fantastic margins. 1,261 players. We're going to be doing it again, so just keep your eye out for.
I had to expand the waterfall on the payouts. In my wildest dreams, I did not think we'd hit 1,200.
I thought we'd hit the guarantee barely.
I thought we'd hit
barely. I thought we'd have a little bit of an overlay.
When I made the waterfall, I did from 700 to 1,100.
And you thought that was too far.
That was an optimistic 1,100. And we were over 1,200 entries. We're going to do it again next week or next month.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And
next month you can host day 2 in Fort Worth. We do have a beautiful bar though.
Yeah,
full bar.
Yep.
That's something that most clubs around here do not have.
No, there's plenty to be excited about here at Peaks and at Fort Worth. It was just keep an eye out on both the social medias on Facebook for what we have coming up in July. We have a packed month of July for both of the clubs. And if you have any questions, just shoot us a message on Facebook. Me and Eric, we get those messages, and have any questions can't help out you guys with. And so I appreciate it, Eric. We've had a great week, and we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and if you played in this tournament, thank you for your participation, and looking forward to the next big thing with you guys. And like I said, can't wait to see what's in store.
Yeah,
I'm ready to do it. So
thanks for all the commentary. We do it for you to watch. I hope we made it exciting, and we'll see you at the next one.
You guys take care, and let us know if you need anything, and we'll see you on the next.